growing up in Cleveland and going to school in Syracuse, I used to be tough. I'm so soft now. I'm so soft.
I'm absolutely soft.
Like 58 degrees, I gotta cancel a meeting and stay home. It's like way too cold, man.
I go to New York during the winter for like a meeting or something,
right.
and you would think that I was in Alaska. Like, I'm so like bundled up, and they're like, "Dude, we have on sweaters," and I was like, "Whatever." Right. I'm from Southern California. Like, I live in the Valley. It's 110
always,
all the time for the most part. Like, we get down to 60, and the world's shutting down in LA
for sure. Or when it rains in LA. It's like people can't handle it.
We moved here for a reason, not to have to deal with those sort of things.
I know. That's right. Okay, cool. You ready for this?
Yeah, right. Let's do it.
Let's do this. My guest today does it all. He's an incredibly talented host, producer, writer, director, actor, rapper, composer, content creator, YouTuber, sneakerhead. He's a true multi-hyphenate, a Jacques of all trades, if you will. Yeah, that's right. He's the host of the YouTube original Soul Swap with Jacques Slade. You might know him from What's Poppin', The Kickback on Snapchat, his work with NBC Sports. He has over 1.3 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, over 208 million views and counting. But today, we're adding guests to that long list. Yes. Welcome to In the Zone, Jacques Slade.
Thank you. That was an amazing introduction. We are going to package that up, and anything that I do from now on, that's it.
You got it, man. You got it. I'm here. I'm your hype man. You can just deliver that whenever you go somewhere, a grocery store. I'll be behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes. I got you.
The guy buying the fries.
That's right. Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You're a super busy guy. You're doing so much, as you could tell from that intro, so I appreciate you spending some time with us here, getting in the zone.
Wow, thank you, man. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be fun. Now, you're a host. You can't just jump right into the main course. You got to have some apps. You got to ease into the situation, right?
Let's do it.
So this is our first segment here on In the Zone that we always start with. It's called Starters. And I got a little something for you. You love unboxing. I know your videos, very popular. So I want you to unbox this right here.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Because this comes all the way from Northridge, California. Now, don't look at the label.
Oh.
Don't look at the label.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just unbox the box. Yes.
Okay.
And see, this is from Northridge, California.
Okay.
Open it up.
So do I do my unboxing thing, or
you can do on your unboxing.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, do it up.
All right. Yo. Hey guys, it's Poppin' Jacques Slade here. Back with another unboxing, and today we have something. It's a surprise, actually. I'm not sure what it is. This just was given to me, and so we're gonna open it up here, and it's a white bag. So we're gonna start with a.
I think he knows what it is.
Well played.
Yes.
Well played. So I from Northridge.
Yeah, man. This is El Taco Llama, a carne asada burrito with an extra bag of jalapenos, and you can't have that. You can't have just that. You need a horchata. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. So for everyone listening here or watching here, so when I was in college, there was this local taqueria called El Taco Llama, and me and my boys would go all of the time. I mean, almost every, it was bad. We probably ate way too many burritos, and a point of pride was I'm literally flashing back to my college days. You open the white bag, you have your mix of jalapenos, carrots, and cauliflower, and you eat it with your burrito. You have the sauce, and so you eat the burrito, and a point of pride is to make sure you eat all of your bag, because we had this little competition between us about don't get too many because we didn't want to waste it. You have even it out with your burrito. So this is dope. How'd you know about El Taco Llama?
Hey, man, this is what we do on In the Zone. We go deep, we find out all the facts, and we keep you off guard. So you better be on your toes, Jacques Slade. This is what it's like to get in the zone.
I'm wait, do you know Troy or Ray? How do you?
Let's bring out Troy. Troy's in the back making the burritos. Let's go.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, all right. You can enjoy that later, but that is a fresh fresh burrito
Yes,
from
no, that's
You
amazing.
said it much better. El Taco Llama.
El Taco Llama.
Llama, yeah, I
This
screwed
is
that
what happens when you grow up in
All right.
Pacoima, and you just like Spanish is almost like your second language. So yeah.
Tell me about Pacoima. That's where you're from. What was it like growing up there? And for those who don't know, what is Pacoima like?
So Pacoima is a small like city in the San Fernando Valley. Everybody knows about the San Fernando Valley. You probably you've heard of like Van Nuys or Northridge or Woodland Hills, but Pacoima is a small subset of all of that. That's in like the northern side of the valley. It's basically the ghetto part of the valley. So grew up there. Me, all of my cousins, aunts, uncles, like basically all of my family lived there. That's where I learned to play basketball. Vaughn Street Elementary School, where I went to the Boys and Girls Club all of the time. Me and my cousins. It was like me, my cousin Michael, Chaz, Talib, my younger brother JR, and we would all walk down the street to the Boys and Girls Club during the summer. I mean, that's where I just fell in love with everything. Everything that I do now kind of started there, from basketball to rapping to wanting to be an actor to wanting to to do anything, like any of like the goals and dreams, to learning about financial literacy, or finding out like that there are people that are not just like everyday workers that are Black people, that there are some like higher up people that are Black people that like actually live in Pacoima. And like that was my first experience because of was it Young Black Scholars or 100 Black? I think it's 100 Black Men. It was either 100 Black Men or Young Black Scholars. They had this program where like they would take kids from the inner city, and you would meet with like these individuals, these Black men that were in like upper management. And I met with like the postmaster general in my city, and I was like, it was so cool to me just like to see this Black man that was like the boss as opposed to being like the employee. So it was like that was like super cool for me. So like that's the moment. My first job was in Pacoima, like working at the park. So like it's like Pacoima has just like a tons of memories for me.
Sure, wow. And that's kind of where you said where so much of what you do today and who you are really started. Do you remember how you first fell in love with the game of basketball?
My older cousin KC, he was super good, had an incredible handle, like just had, his ball handling was just incredible, and he was really, really quick. And when you're young and you have like this high school older cousin, he's the best thing in the world, he's the greatest, like KC, we all love KC. Like, I mean, in everything, like he shaped so much of who I am, from wanting to play basketball to the shoes that I love, to how I wanted to dress, to the girls that I wanted to date, like the girls that he brought home. It was like, okay, like that's what your girlfriend should look like. You know what I mean? Just because he was like that guy for us, and he was just like so good in basketball. So I would say where falling in love with basketball is purely my older cousin KC.
Wow.
Like
And
him
music
and his
too,
friends.
right?
Yeah, music started there too in Pacoima. So me and my cousins, Casey wasn't necessarily into music, but me and my the younger cousins, we were super into music. And so we would sit at home and listen to the radio or watch TV, and we would like record stuff, and then we would like play it back, and then we would write down the lyrics so we could learn the lyrics, and then we would like perform to ourselves, like just like a little, like we had like our own little mini rap group, just like singing rap songs off the radio, whatever that we recorded. So I guess my uncle recognized that was something, a gift, so to speak, that we had, or something that we were really passionate about, and he challenged us to write our own songs. Instead of writing down the lyrics of everyone else. And he was the first one to put us in the studio.
Wow.
Me and my cousins. And
Cool.
it's been like a roller coaster ride ever since.
Yeah, I mean, you've always been creating, from music to now all the content that you do. Our next segment I want to dive in a little deeper is called In the Zone, where the zone can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people. For basketball players, they catch fire and they describe what it's like to be in that flow state where they throw up a shot, feels like they're shooting into the ocean, and it's just they can't miss. So for you, both with basketball, with music, and now what you do in the hosting world and creating content, what is it like for you to get in the zone? What does that mean to you? How do you get there? How do you stay there? And describe what it feels like when you're on and you're firing on all cylinders.
I think the first recognition of being in the zone was when I was doing music a lot more and just being on stage. You rehearse. Like I was performing with the DJ first, and then I started performing with a band. So we had like a trumpet player, a bass player, guitar player, and a drummer. And I was the vocalist. and like you do all these rehearsals, but it's so different than when you're doing it in front of an audience. You know what I mean? Like you can feel it, the vibe, and like a whole vibe session when you're in rehearsal, and that feels great. And everybody's in the zone. Like you're not really thinking about what you're doing, and you're freestyling, and that's just going. Or someone's like doing, they're doing a run on the guitar, and they're just in there. Or somebody just like really in the pocket when they're playing the drums, and there's like this vibe that's going on. But then when you do it on the stage, and like the audience is like singing along to the words, like it's hard to describe that feeling, because it's like seeing, like for me it's like the zone is like when like the vision that you have for the art kind of comes to fruition, and like all the work that you've done up to that point, it's like it's happening, like you're seeing the results of that. So like even like for a basketball player, I think it's very similar, like all that practicing, all that playing you've done at the park, at the Boys and Girls Club, all the drills that you were doing, all the suicides that you had to run, like seeing all of that come together, and you're in a game, and like you've practiced so much, and like those shots start falling, and then you just feel it. It's almost like an outer body experience, because all of those things kind of come together. It's like all the energies of the universe, or whatever it is you want to call it, like they're just on you at that very exact moment, and like muscle memory, it's all there. It's just, it's a great
How do you
feeling.
find that today with what you do? I mean, you've made thousands, if not tens of thousands of videos where even just unboxing that burrito, you were able to just turn it on and switch on a gear, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you find that zone in what you do now?
I think, I think as somebody that's creative, like it's just an energy that you have. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain what it is, but then also you've done it so long. They always talk about like those 10,000 hours, and like I think part of that helps you get to that place. There are obviously some people that are just amazingly gifted, and they don't have to go through all of that time, all that practice, and all those sessions, and doing it over and over and over again for them to be there. They can just do it one time, and they're like, all right, I'm in it. But for me, like I need those times. I need those practice sessions. I need that time when I'm by myself in my room and no one else is there, and I'm just doing it and working on it, or I'm watching YouTube videos and watching other hosts. If I'm paying attention to what Ahmad Rashad is doing, I'm watching Ryan Seacrest. I'm looking at all of these people host things, and pulling as much from that, so that when I do it, little bits and pieces of all of them and all the time that I spent practicing all kind of comes together. So I think for me, getting into that zone is just a matter of being prepared and just launching right into that opportunity.
Totally. I like that. You mentioned Ahmad Rashad, Ryan Seacrest. Are there other hosts, other people that you've looked up to when you were younger, or still today, that you watch their stuff and take notes and, learn things from and admire?
Oh, there's plenty of people. I think I lean more towards the comedy space, even though it's not necessarily what I am. So random, like Ellen, like I think Ellen does a fantastic job on her show. She's just really good as controlling the narrative, controlling the audience, and she's able to be funny at the same time. I like what Jimmy Fallon does. I just think he's just really funny, and like his interaction with the guest, I think, is really good and really genuine. And then there's also like I've been like studying my next guest is with Dave Letterman.
Yeah,
he is just so good at bringing out things with people and talking to people, and just I feel like he has a really honest conversation with people. And that's not something that you can get everywhere. A lot of times on television, you see these interviews, and you feel like people are kind of putting on a bit of a show during the interview. But like David Letterman is he makes people relax and just kind of breaks people down and just gets to the brass tacks and just talks to them, and it feels just like a conversation. And that's an art in itself. So watching stuff like that, and then there's actors like Jamie Foxx obviously is just incredible, like at what he does, and just he has so many skills, and be able to bring all of that together in one package is just incredible.
Yeah, well, I've always looked up to Letterman. I think he's one of the best interviewers. Someone like him, Howard Stern, the way they're able to just set people at ease and get them to open up and share a side of themselves that they're not comfortable doing anywhere else. It's really an art form. It's amazing. But I think, like you said, so much of it goes into the preparation, into knowing what to ask and how to present it the right way. And that's a good segue to our next segment here on In the Zone. This is called Rewind, where we're going to take a look back at some video clips and some things from your past and get the unfiltered story behind the scenes, right, of what really went down. Don't worry, it's not as painful. You look like you're going to the doctor's office.
I just feel like this might be painful.
Yeah, it's okay. It's gonna be fun. It's a good trip down memory lane because a lot of people know you for the work that you do currently on YouTube with amazing sneaker reviews, unboxing, all sorts of stuff. But you are, as I said in the intro, a multifaceted, multi-hyphenate, super talented guy who really came up in the music game. And some people may know, but I don't think everyone really does. So let's take a look at our first clip right here of KU rapping on stage.
Nobody love you like the one that's right in front of you.
Is it the Slade in my veins or the Collins in my brain that got me on the hustle trying to bubble in the game? And I never move work, but I made the work move like the dealers on the block when the cops get a clue. But I'm back where I started like what Foxy had to do when she stopped wilding out and heard the J was coming through. But before all that, there's just a couple things to do. And the first is to bless you with the K and the U. Yeah.
Wow. Oh
You sound like Jay-Z to me.
I do. It's something I've always been told like my whole life of rapping.
That's not a bad person to sound like if you're in the rap game.
I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah. That was really good, man. That was
you.
really good. I mean,
you.
what does music mean to you today? And looking back at that, what's your reaction? How do you feel seeing that part of your life?
Music is like music and basketball are like a tie for like my first love kind of thing. I think I would say music probably leans a little more to like, okay, music's my first love. Because like when I started doing music like seriously and like moments like that, like my mom would always tell me stories of like me being in the back of the car, just like yelling to songs on the radio, just like singing along and just like yelling. And she was like, I just had to just let you go because you would just be singing along to the words and singing on. And I remember. There was it's so strange, such a strange memory. But there was a movie called The Burning Bed. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, I think it was a Dolly Parton song, and like the lyrics of the song were just like so incredible to me. Like as I was watching the movie and when the movie went off, and so like I like researched the song and like I wanted to learn the lyrics of the song, and it like inspired me to write like a song of my own. So music has always had a weird place of just like touching and digging into my soul. Like I love the reality show, the music reality shows like The Voice and American Idol and all that. I watch those religiously.
Oh, wow.
Like there's something about that, like one, the talent of some of the people that are undiscovered and just being like, oh, like these people are so talented and they just haven't had the right opportunity and they haven't had the right chance. But there's also like the magic of seeing them perform and just like the beauty of their talent and recognizing that and seeing that, like that's just just appeals to me in a way that nothing else does. Like I love a great dunk and seeing someone like dunk on somebody, but music just has a magic way of touching me. Like even like I'll be watching TV and like a background track will come on and I'm like, oh, that's such a nice groove, and like just like a nice groove. It's just, I don't know, music is just special to me in a way that I think I relate to it in a way that nothing else does.
Do you ever have the itch to perform again, to get back into it?
Oh, I do all the time. Oh, constantly. I'll see something, or I'll hear a song, or I'll hear a beat, and like I'll just freestyle in the car or whatever, or it'll inspire me to write a lyric, or I'll be like, I'll tell the producers that I work with, I was like, all right, next week we got to get in the studio, we got to do something, and then nothing ever happens.
I mean, now that you've got the eyeballs, the attention, people know you've got the followers, you got 1.3 million followers on your YouTube channel. Like, what if you just came out and dropped a rap, a freestyle, a video? I don't know.
I've thought about it.
It's good too, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I've thought about it. Like there are a couple of things where I think like, oh, I should probably just do something and just throw it up on Instagram. Just get just do like a little 16 bar verse or something with something that I'm feeling. Cause like there's a Drake and Rick Ross, I think it's Lord Knows, like has like hit me a couple of times where I've like just listened to it on loop because it's like, okay, all right, like you feel that there's a space there.
I feel the comeback coming. Yeah. I feel it. It's getting closer.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting though because people don't know me for that, which is strange because music is my first love. Yeah, but the way that I've grown in the social media and influencer world, very few people know that I have an attachment to music.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how it's received, because perception is everything. It's almost like I've been typecast as like the sneaker YouTube influencer guy, and going into music, they'll be like, what is that? You don't make music.
Well, that's why you're here on In the Zone. We're letting people know, well-rounded. You got it all going on. And in addition to performing, you also worked on a lot of television series, movies, got a little bit of acting bug too, which sets up perfectly our next clip here.
Oh my
So
gosh.
back to the dentist office for Jacques.
yes.
All right. Yeah, all right.
East side, west side, north side.
Yes, I love it. Look at that mustache. That is not like I drive a white van around elementary school's mustache. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Then he goes to school where he's stupid again, and everybody hates him, even all his friends. When you come after Pierce, then the battle is on. So this rap goes out to stupid Vaughn.
Well played, Pierce. This isn't over.
Well played. So that, of course, is from Community, the hit show on NBC. Die-hard fans. You got to work with Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Tell me how that experience came about and what that was like, being on set and being a part of the community.
Yeah, that was probably one of the coolest things that I've done that I didn't know was going to be that cool at the time. So for the pilot episode of that show, I knew the music supervisor, because this is when I was doing more music stuff. So I knew the music supervisor. So I performed a song that they used in the pilot. And because of that, I kind of established a relationship with the showrunner, a guy named Dan Harmon. And from there, I did more music for the show. I did a couple of songs for the show, and eventually they gave me the opportunity to actually be on an episode. So that episode, the reason that I did that part with Chevy Chase is because earlier in the episode, I was performing with Eric, and we were like dissing Chevy Chase's character in the movie, and so Chevy recruited me, and then we did the song dissing Eric. So it was fun. That was fun. That was obviously a cool moment for me, like to be able to work with Chevy Chase. Like, not many, that's obviously like a cool moment. But like, I did a song with Chevy Chase essentially.
That's
like,
great. Any fun stories from set, from being with him, around those guys? It was a great cast. I mean, so many people.
No, I mean, for me, it was more, I was like soaking in everything. Like I wasn't like back then, no one knew who I was. Like I was just like, oh, this is just like the music guy that does a lot of music for our show. So it wasn't like I had like this social media following. So more than anything, I was just kind of just sitting back and just watching everything, just because I just wanted to learn. Like, that for me, I wanted to be, to be the best that I could. And, if I was going to try and take advantage of every opportunity that I was given back then. And so I was literally just watching and trying to learn about everything, and trying to get into the writer's room and trying and talking to like the director, talking to whoever I could to find out any insight that I could about the show.
Well, you had a lot of success in that world. In addition to Community, you were, of course, Lil Nutsack in Walk Hard.
I thought that's what you were going to play.
I know. I feel like that's a little maybe more well-known even, and we try to go deeper. But yeah, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story with John C. Reilly, another great cast in that film as well. You were in that. You wrote a freestyle rap that was featured in the movie Drill Bit Taylor.
Yeah.
And the theme song for Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well, which is huge. So you were having a lot of success in that kind of entertainment music crossover space.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when did the transition happen? Why didn't you continue down that path? How did you get to, take this road that you're on now? Yeah.
So while a lot of that was happening, and I was still, still doing stuff and doing music and stuff, and then like the band that I was with, they kind of broke up, and so like that kind of put a bit of a hole in that, and so I started working a regular job, as you do when you're still trying to, you're not, auditions weren't coming in and things like that, and so you just start working a regular job. You obviously have to pay the bills, and so I ended up getting the school that I was working with. I was a music teacher in the school. And the school ended up closing. It was a charter school. And so they ended up closing. And so I was just like without a job for probably 3 or 4 months. And so I started writing about sneakers online. And that took a turn, and it just became kind of like my full-time job. So I was doing that. And so I wasn't able to do music as much because I was writing just to kind of pay the bills and doing that kind of stuff. And then that just grew and grew and grew. into what it is now. So, and that was like that. I think that started in December of 2009.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been like just a wild, wild ride to where we are now.
So just riding that train, riding
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wave, and it's working for sure.
Yeah,
Wow. But
absolutely.
it's interesting. I mean, you've had success in whatever that you've done in your career. You
Yeah.
just kind of like found the next path and
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
way to channel your creative energy into something else. And
Yeah, it's been great. I think a lot of those things that I've done have like led to here. So like a lot of those skills that come from that world, they bring you to where you are now. I think a lot of people like I'm doing this job, I hate this job.
Right.
But like there's so many things I think you learn from those jobs and skills that you pick up that later on in life that you're like, oh, I didn't really think I would be using this, but now I'm using this.
well, now here you are, over 208 million views on YouTube. When you hear something like that, which obviously and you hear people, say that, like, do you pinch yourself? Is that hard to believe?
It just doesn't sound real,
Yeah.
to be fair. It just doesn't sound real at all. Like you think like, as an artist, you think I don't deserve that kind of stuff. Like I'm not doing anything that special to get that. But you kind of have to walk in it at the same time and just be like, be thankful that it's happening and hope that it continues and enjoy it while you're in that moment.
Well, one of the most successful verticals that you do are the unboxing videos.
Yeah,
People love those videos, and I think we can see why in this next clip.
Yo, hey guys, it's poppin'. Jacques Slade here, back with another unboxing, and today, I've got a big one for you. It's so big, it almost doesn't fit on this here table. Look at that. That is amazing. So there you go. How sick is that?
It is so sick. You've done, do you have any guess how many unboxing videos you've done, how many things you've unboxed, and what are some that stand out to you? Because people, brands, shoe companies, they try to one-up themselves and think outside the box, no pun intended there, but like, what are some that really stand out for you? Like, this is wild. What they
like
do.
obviously that was a huge one.
That's
Like
crazy.
just like I think we all know Michael Jordan, we all know Gatorade and the tie-in between those two worlds. So like obviously that was super cool.
Yeah.
Another big one that I've done was from Microsoft. So Microsoft did, this is early on, they did an Xbox and they did an Air Max 1 kind of together in this same pack and this like big giant case, which was really, really cool. Just like tying in those two worlds together. Jordan and Space Jam, they had like this big Space Jam box. When you opened up the box, it had a video that played, so that was really good, like a video, and then the shoes kind of came out of the box, so that was like a cool moment. What else was good? When KD won the championship in Golden State, Nike was so random. Nike sent like a wine fridge, like a mini wine fridge, and a bottle of Cristal, and like the goggles, when they're in the room they win, and then a pair of like cork Air Force Ones. It was so
It's insane.
random. It was
Do you?
crazy.
You've got so many of these things sent to you because obviously these companies, they want you to review them. They want eyeballs on them.
Yeah.
Do you still get that same sense of like it's Christmas morning, that energy, that
Oh,
joy
yeah.
when you get these things?
Oh,
sent to you?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like that feeling never dies. Like if it does, then I probably need to stop. Like,
Right.
that feeling never dies. It's still exciting for me. Every time a package shows up at the door, like it's exciting. It's like, oh, okay, like what is this? Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool.
Right.
What is this? Yeah.
For anyone
absolutely.
watching or listening to this, a lot of people in the content creation space, do you have any like tricks or tips for YouTube that you've seen that like really help? Because I know there's what the thumbnail is, what the title is, what is
Yeah.
the length, how do you present and package it to get people to click and watch? Obviously, some of these unboxing videos, you just see an image and it's like, I got to see what this is, and it gets you in. But like, what have you learned over your years? You've been very successful.
I would say there's a couple things that I've learned.
Yeah.
One is to be you. Don't try to be somebody else. It's cool to imitate someone when you first get in, but eventually find your own voice because that's why people are going to come back to you. YouTube is such a personality driven platform that you kind of have to separate yourself by being the individual that you are. Like I was talking about earlier, bringing in your own experiences to it, bring in your own personality to it. If you're fun and quirky, bring that fun and quirky side to you. If you're super serious and technical, be super serious and technical, because that's what is going to separate you from everybody else. Because there's thousands and millions of people on YouTube that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing. There's tons of people that do the exact same thing that I'm doing. But like for me, I focused on one being who I am, which is weird, quirky, nerdy guy. But also like I wanted to up the quality. So I make sure the quality of my videos, that's part of the personality of who I am. So the content looks incredible as far as I'm concerned. It looks incredible.
It does.
So for anyone doing it, I would say that's a focus. Like make it be who you are, and then also create something that you would want to watch. Like we are more alike than we are different, and so like create something that you actually want to watch. And then I'll say 3 more things, and I'll stop.
You got a lot of tips.
I can go on. Yeah, I can go on forever about this.
Welcome to the master class.
When you're editing your own content. When you get bored, the audience is bored also.
Okay,
so cut that out.
Right.
So get rid of it because don't be precious about the content. And then thumbnail and title, they're probably unfortunately they're probably the most important. Think of them like movie posters. Every video you do is a new movie, and you gotta market that movie to the audience through the title and through the thumbnail. So make sure you think of it that way when you look at those.
So does it have to be salacious? Does it have to be shocking? Does it have to be?
No, I just think it has to be something that pulls people in, that grabs people's attention, and that a lot of times that's showing your face. Like people, we recognize faces because we know so many emotions that go through our face. We can see if you believe me, if you don't, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're going through something, if you're mad at me. Like you can see all that in a person's face, and you try to communicate that through the thumbnail.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Good tips. I appreciate that. A little free sample of the masterclass is coming soon. All right. Let's take a look, because that's where you have come today so far in the YouTube game and the content game. But I want to go back to the beginning where it all started. So let's take a look way back. I believe this is from March of 2010.
March of 2010.
What up, Sneakerheads? I am KU, one of your writers here at kicksonfire.com, and welcome to the Weekly Review. The Weekly Review is a new segment we're doing here at Kicks on Fire, where we cover some of the hottest posts from last week.
I love this.
Now, we know we cover a lot of content here on the site, so we wanted to give you guys an opportunity to revisit some of the hottest sneakers from last week. So without further ado, let's get started.
That shirt is
Number
like
5
8 times too big
Air
for
Max
me.
90. The Air Max 90 comes in a nice cement white and black colorway with a suede and mesh upper, and they're set to release in July. These are probably as close as we're going to get to the original retros. So if you're looking for a retro Air Max 90, this is the one to get.
That was such a good time in my life.
Yeah.
Like, because I was creating without any inhibitions. Like there was nothing, I didn't have any expectations. There weren't any pressures. It was just me just creating and trying to create something new. And this is kind of like speaking to trying to do something on your own. So like the reason I started doing that, one, is because I wasn't getting any auditions. And so I was like, I need to keep myself on camera to make sure that they know I can do this sort of thing. But then I was like, oh, I want to do something different. Like this is kind of like my own voice. And so like this was supposed to be my own version of like the celebrity e-news kind of thing, but about sneakers. And so like that was going to be my angles. Like I'm going to be like this e-news celebrity reporter, but for sneakers. And so like that's what inspired me to create that. And at the time, no one else in the sneaker world was doing anything like that. They were doing videos, but they weren't producing them this way. And because I had done a little bit of stuff in television and film, this was like, I was like, okay, it needs to look nice. So like that was, quote unquote, that looked nice, quote unquote, back then. And so like it was super, that was like just such a super exciting time for me. Like I went down to Michael's, Joann's Fabrics, and I got like a green blanket. So that's literally me in the garage with a green blanket, and those like the cheap dorm lights, the like you get them from Target, where it's like black and it's like 3 lights at the top, like that's how I lit myself. It's like there's 2 of those sitting like here and here. I'm on a green blanket. I have like a small point and shoot camera on probably the cheapest tripod you could ever think of. Like if I would have put a feather on top, it probably would have collapsed. So that was there. And like I memorized that whole script. So I wrote out the script and I memorized this entire script just so I wouldn't mess up anything. And I would just do it over and over and over until I felt like I got it into like the right place so that I can edit it all together. I taught myself how to edit on Final Cut, taught myself how to like do the dropper thing so I could get rid of the green screen, and I grabbed the screens from the website so I could put them as my background.
Wow.
And it was just literally just me just creating and trying to create something new from like this image that I had in my head of what it could be. And it's obviously not perfect. It's bad. Like I wore a shirt that was 8 times too big, and you can tell, and you can also tell there like the way that I'm talking. That's not my tone. That's not how I pronounce words. And I was trying to fit in, and this is part of that. You start out trying to copy a little bit, pull things from here and there. But like I was saying, sneakers, like I was from New York,
Yeah,
I say sneakers, like I'm from LA. Like that's not how I say those words. But it was part of the image I was trying to portray, and I eventually found myself in doing that. But I had to make that first in order to get to the person that I am today.
Wow. When you look back at that, knowing the person you are today, knowing the quality of your content and how much you've done and how much you're doing, how does that make you feel to see where it started to where you are?
I mean, for me, it's great. It's like I like if I had to go back and talk to that guy, it's just like keep doing it. You're on the right path. You know what I mean? But also, I kind of like maybe I shouldn't say that. Because maybe I wouldn't be as hungry if I knew like, oh, I'm going to make it. Like, that there's a hunger. I think there's a hunger in that guy there that, that helped me get to where I am now. Like if that guy didn't have that hunger, if that guy knew that eventually he would be here, he might not have worked as hard, or he might not have taken the risk that he did in order to get there. Like even like my first unboxing, like the first unboxing I did was because I was like, everybody's doing unboxings. Like a lot of the sneaker guys were already doing unboxings. So I didn't want to do it initially. Yeah. So I didn't do unboxings. I was still doing videos like that for probably the first couple of years when I was on YouTube. I eventually started doing unboxings because I was watching a lot of tech channels, and a lot of the tech channels, they were highly produced. They were using multiple cameras, and I was like, okay, that's going to be my angle. I'm going to take from there and add it to what I'm doing here. And so like my first unboxing like was around Christmas, and it's like me on the dining room table with like a camera here, a camera there, a camera over my shoulder. Doesn't look good at all, but it was something, again, it was something different. It was my language. And I think the audience understood like this is Jacques' creative language when it comes to sneakers. Yeah. And that allowed me to kind of, again, it's something else that separated me from the rest of the pack. And I don't know if I would have taken that risk to do that if I knew that eventually, I was like, I'll be here eventually. I'll be in the zone, in 2021. You know what I'm saying? So like, exactly. You got to get there. You have to kind of, you have to take those risks and be that guy.
Wow. How much of your success do you think, because you're an incredibly talented guy, the work that you do, that is over the time you've put in the 10,000 hours, you're excellent host and creator. But how much of it is the skill set that is in you, that love, and versus how much is that persistence, that hustle, that drive, the determination to get all those pieces together, to go to Joann Fabrics and get the green blanket, to get the small tripod. But like, I feel like not everyone will take it to that length to put in that work.
Yeah, I think that's part of that first step is having the ignorance, just be like, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. I'll go get a green blanket. It's just like anybody else will do it. Right. So I think having that blind faith in yourself initially early on is like, oh, I can do this. That's a big part of it. And then obviously being persistent, that's a big part of it as well. So I would say it's, the blind faith is 25%. The persistent is 25%. But I don't think a lot of people like to acknowledge this, but I think a huge swath of what you do comes down to luck and opportunity as well. As much as not to say that people don't work hard. I think we all work hard, but there's tons of people that work hard and that are trying their best to get there, that are better than me at doing this. But they just haven't had the opportunity or the luck to get there. So I always credit a lot to luck and opportunity as well. Because I didn't, doing these videos on YouTube, some people didn't have to share that video. You know what I mean? They could have shared somebody else's video. I didn't have to get the invite to that event, or they didn't have to send me that package. You know what I mean? So all of those things play into it. And I think that's a lot of that is opportunity and luck. And I was lucky enough to be that guy. And I had worked hard enough so that when that opportunity did present itself, I was able to kind of follow through, which led to other things.
That's the one place I'd push back on, is that you put in the work to be prepared so that when the opportunity came about, you were ready to seize that moment. It's
Yeah.
about creating your own luck, creating that opportunity sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a little bit of magic, right time, right place, but
Yeah.
you got to be ready when that door is open a little bit to like kick it open.
To kick it open,
and,
yeah. But
prove you belong.
I personally feel that people need to acknowledge that magic, that there's a little bit of magic that you can't explain. I think that people need to give that
Yeah.
a little bit more credit.
But you
for-
got to
for
be
some
ready
things
for
that
it. You
happen.
got to
But
be
you
ready.
definitely have to be
That's
ready.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I got another video too because you're doing so much content, and I feel like this one was a meaningful one for you, a special video, kind of an unboxing surprise. So let's take a look at this clip.
So my mom is downstairs right now, and she's gonna come up here in just a
that's a
second.
good
We're
one.
gonna do an unboxing. She thinks that she's coming because she works out all of the time, and that she's gonna give feedback on the shoe and be in a video with me, giving that sort of feedback. She doesn't know that the shoe is for her or anything like that. So let's go do the unboxing.
These shoes are actually for you. So Nike reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to design a shoe, and I had to pick someone that was inspirational in my life.
Oh.
And so obviously I chose you and your journey, I think it can inspire people. And I know we're going to run together. And so Nike let me pick a running shoe to make for you. And as part of that process, I actually interviewed Betty, Toy, Fathead, Dad, and JR. And they helped design this shoe for you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
They're obviously inspirational to me, and I really wanted to make sure that that you
Thank
liked them
you.
and that they meant something to you. So,
Yes, they do.
so these are yours.
I love them.
My mom's such a good actor. She saw right through this whole thing. She saw
She
right
knew what was
through it
coming.
right away. So the moment like we stepped behind the table and I was like, oh yeah, so I'll go through the whole preamble of like these are shoes and like they were created for women. They want to find about running, and she goes, oh, that's my size, and I was like, oh, God. I was like, yeah, no, that's the wrong size. She's like, no, that looks like my size. Are you sure are these for me? I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, just play along. Can you?
What does she mean to you? It sounds like she's a pretty remarkable woman, a survivor.
Yeah, she's a cancer survivor. She's everything to me. I mean, like everyone knows his mom. Everybody's mom is everything to them. But obviously we have a great relationship. She's gone through a lot. Like my mom's gone through a lot. She is like I'm able to do what I'm able to do because of the things that she's gone through. She's a cancer survivor. She's a recovering drug addict. She was a single mom for a while. She was a victim of domestic violence. Like she went through the gambit. You know what I mean? As a black woman in America, she had everything stacked against her. She went through it all, and she able to come out standing and walk tall because of it. And so like opportunities like that I'm given, I find is like a great chance to celebrate her and let her know she's loved. We obviously tell her all the time, but a moment like that, that's something that she can always look back on and reflect on. And that's one of the things I tell people about shoes all the time. It's not necessarily about that shoe in particular, but it's about the memories that you make in that shoe, and what that's what I want the shoe to serve as. That's what shoes serve as to me. They serve as a bit of a time machine to take you back to that moment. And so like for that shoe, like that's something that she can always reflect on, and it's an outward symbol of the love that she knows that her family has for her.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, and
Absolutely.
sharing not only this but that with the world too, and
Yeah.
who your mom is and the love that you guys have for each other, and your love of shoes. It's a storytelling vehicle, like you said, the time machine. So let's get in the time machine for our next game.
Yeah.
This is called What Are Those?
What are those?
What
Okay.
are those? All right, I'm going to show you some kicks, some sneakers, as you
Some
would say back in the
sneakers,
day.
sneakers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But zoomed in super up close. And
Oh,
we're going to
goodness.
see if you're going to be able to tell what kicks those
Oh my
are.
gosh. Oh,
all
this will be
right?
fun. I'm looking-
Yeah,
let's try
okay.
this.
Well, test your skills. You know shoes, so we'll see. All
Let's
right, here's
see.
our first one. What are those? All right.
Oh
any-
my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
That-
we had to step it up for you.
Yeah,
If you don't know, we can
know.
zoom it back a
Yeah,
little
zoom
bit.
back a little
We'll
bit.
zoom it back a
maybe?
little
I just
bit.
need a.
Okay,
I
we'll
feel
see.
like I need to see a midsole or outsole. Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
Any guess? You want to take a guess?
Is it a Chuck Taylor?
Let's see. Is it a Chuck Taylor? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got this. Don't doubt
yeah.
yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You got that. Can you
Oh,
believe they
okay.
used to play basketball in those,
Yeah,
like in the NBA?
Yo, that's insane.
That's insane.
It's insane. I can barely walk around in those. And those
Yeah,
are one of my
seriously.
favorite shoes.
Yeah.
But I can barely walk around. Like I have to put like different insoles inside of them because they're so flat.
Right.
That's
I know.
crazy.
I know. All right. 1 for 1. That was pretty
Okay,
good. All right.
that's
Let's
good.
take a look at our next one. What are those? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the Kobe Grinch. Yeah, I know that color. It's the color. It's the color.
That's
it's
right.
the color and the scales. Like that's such a unique shoe, though.
For sure.
Like that's such a unique shoe. The Kobe Grinch is like that's such a beautiful shoe.
Yeah, it is a beautiful
That's
shoe.
So beautiful shoe.
And Kobe Bryant, let's talk about him for a second. He was the first big athlete that you ever got a chance to interview. And not only interview him, you really got to know him over the years, too. I mean, what was that like, those experiences like for you?
I mean, Kobe was so good. Like just in everything. Like if there's someone like you kind of want to model yourself after as far as like being of understanding the world around you and how things interact with each other, like Kobe is a good guy to look at. Like just from talking to him about shoes, he knew so much about everything in the shoe. And like a lot of these athletes you talk to, they know the talking points. You know what I mean? There's a team, you know, showing behind the curtain a little bit here, but you know, there's a team of employees at the brand that goes, okay, when you talk about the shoe, you know, let them know that it's comfortable, that you helped design it, and that it has this technology in it, and you know, this is your favorite colorway, and this is why, and like those kind of things. Like they get the basic
PR points.
Yeah. But Kobe knew like the inside details about his shoe, of why he picked this sort of technology, why this cushioning was there, and then like the whole story around the shoe. So like he was very unique in that way, and I think that goes to show you like the different parts of Kobe's life, of how that was so deeply integrated into his life as well. Even in basketball, like, you know, there's stories about, for practice, like Kobe wouldn't just do a general practice. He would go because there was a specific thing that he wanted to work on during practice. Like, and like, you know, a lot of people don't think about it that way. It's like, oh, I'm just practicing in general, learning all of these general skills. He's like, no, I have this down. I need to work on this. I remember, I think it was the last time I was with him before he passed. Nike held an event out in Orange County, and he was going through like drills with kids. And it was just it was a simple thing of, you know, catching the ball at the top of the key, you know, swinging the ball under, going to the basket, and making a layup. But he like broke down the whole process of even just that, of catching the ball, thinking about, where's my defender? Okay, my defender's on the right side, so I'm going to bring the ball down, move it over to my left side so the defender can't get the ball. And instead of starting with my left, even if that's my strong foot, you should start with your right, because that seals off your defender from getting closer to you and getting the ball. And now the ball is further away from the defender, and you have room to move, so you can start with your right foot, as opposed to going with your left and starting this way. Now the defender can come in and grab the ball. So you think like, what? Like, wait, are you thinking about that kind of stuff, Kobe? And like, those are the kind of things that he was thinking about, like breaking things down to that granular of a level on the basketball court. So of course he's going to understand why he likes this cushioning in his shoe. So it made sense. Yeah, it was one of the. I was super excited that he was like the first big person that I got to interview, and you know, I'm like forever grateful for him for even obliging and being open to talking to like a guy that was on YouTube making videos, because back then, you know, sneaker brands weren't really dealing with YouTube creators in that way, and so this was like a big moment for me.
Wow, that's really cool, and that lives on forever too.
Yeah,
those interviews
absolutely.
and those moments, it's really special. That's really cool. All right, let's take a look at this next shoe here. What are those? Let's see. You're 2 for 2.
Okay,
so
2 for 2.
No pressure, but
Okay, my first thought is maybe it's like the Adapt BB, but then also maybe it's the Gary Payton's shoe. What is the name of Gary Payton's shoe? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm having a brain.
What's
fart.
his nickname?
The gloves. Yeah, there you go. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
All right, let's zoom it out. Zoom it out.
There you go.
You are correct.
Okay,
It is
yeah,
the
yeah.
Nike Air Zoom Flight, the glove.
There you go. Yeah.
This was one of my favorite shoes back in the day because
Yeah.
it fit so perfectly with who he was as a player and with his nickname.
Yep.
And the fact that you unzipped
That
it
you
and
unzipped it and
revealed
it
a
came
whole
out.
other
Yeah.
shoe.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, that was one of the shoes that got me going. That was
Yeah.
like, this is the coolest thing ever. You could wear it like untucked, unzipped.
Yeah, unzipped it, like
oh.
flared out to kind of
Yeah.
show your laces, and
I
we would
loved
change
it.
the color of our laces to have like a pop of color on the
Exactly.
inside. Yeah,
I thought that was the coolest. Yeah, for sure. All right, that was a good one. You're
that was
3
good.
for 3.
3
That
for
was
3.
close,
Oh,
though.
wow, we're still
That was
going.
close. Yeah,
Oh,
we got a
gosh.
couple
Oh,
more.
no.
We'll speed it
Oh,
up.
no.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Oh, that's the Air Jordan 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What does this shoe mean to you?
Oh man, that is like the quintessential, like the like easily like the best basketball shoe ever created. Like there's like the hype and story around this shoe is insane even to this day. This is obviously the black and red colorway, but like the all the different colorways of the Jordan 11. The Jordan 11 is just was an instantly classic shoe, and it still is to this day. I mean, Jordan Brand for the last 10 years has been selling millions and millions of that shoe, and they only release it once a year at Christmas time for the last 10 years, and it sells millions of shoes. I believe 2 years ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, something like that, it like sold more than any other shoe in the world over like that holiday, or made more money or something like that over the holiday season. So like this is just it's incredible. And shout out to Tinker Hatfield and to Michael Jordan for helping build that story and creating the story behind it. But it's a shoe that'll live on. It's added to the world of like Chuck Taylor Air Force One, Superstar, or like PF Flyer, Air Jordan 11. Those shoes are in that pantheon of like the great sneakers.
The all-time, the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Everyone, even if you don't know about sneakers, you have a pretty good idea about this sneaker.
For sure. And is this your favorite colorway? Is the
black and red, definitely my favorite. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
All right, let's go to the next one. You're doing pretty well here. You got this going. So our next, what are those? You're 4 for 4.
4 for
which,
4.
I mean,
see.
if
I would
you're 0 for
hope
4,
so.
it'll
If
be
you're
bad.
0 for 4, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So this shoe. This is the first shoe that caught my eye in a way that like I remember it to this day. So this is the Air Max 95.
Yeah.
So I was walking in the mall and I was going past a store and it was on the shelf. And you walk past shoe stores all the time, and like for some reason, I don't know if it's the gradient, if it was the pop of the fluorescent green, but it just caught my eye instantly and kind of like stopped me in my tracks kind of thing. And I had obviously seen a ton of sneakers, but this was the first one that literally stopped me in my tracks when I was walking by the shoe store. And I was like, what is that? Oh my God. I couldn't afford it back then, but it was still like,
It's
oh my
amazing
God,
you
this
can
is
remember
amazing.
that moment.
Yeah,
too,
I
vividly.
definitely remember that moment because
Yeah.
it was one of those things that was like, oh my God, like what is that? That is incredible.
Yeah. All right, you're 5 for 5. I got a couple shoe questions for you, but I want to know how many shoes you think you own or have owned ever, a rough estimate. But I also know that you're giving away a lot of your shoes. You're
Yes.
partnered with eBay to sell hundreds of pairs of your shoes, your shoe
Yes.
collection, with 100% of the proceeds going to charity, which is incredible.
Yeah. So first question, how many do I think I have? I'm gonna say between 700 and 1,000 is what I have currently.
Right.
I think I've probably gone up to like 1,500 or whatever, or maybe not 1,500. Let's say 1,200.
Wow.
At some point. But I'm constantly giving sneakers away.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like if it's something that I'm blessed with, like I might as well just pass that blessing
Which,
on.
by the way, I'm a size 11 and a half.
Oh, okay,
11
yeah,
and
we there,
That's
we there,
good.
bro. Yeah,
Why do
we-
you think
we-
you're a guest on
we-
Amazon? Same shoe size. I
That's
did my
how you made
research.
it on the show, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And then as far as the giveaway, so I have a storage unit full of sneakers, and as I was saying earlier, like for me, it's really important to wear sneakers and to create memories inside of your sneakers. Having them just sitting on a pedestal doesn't really. I mean, some people do that, and God bless them. That's their path. But for me, I feel like sneakers need to be worn, and so it was important for me that I had a lot of stuff that was just sitting in a storage unit and not being worn, and that they could be making memories somewhere else. You know what I mean? And so I'm selling a lot of them, and I never sold any of my sneakers, and so I kind of wanted to continue that where I'm not selling any sneakers.
Sure.
So these are all going up on eBay, and all of the money, I believe there's 330 pairs.
Wow.
They're all going up, and all the money is going to charity. Like
Wow.
100% of it. None of the money is coming back to me. It's
incredible.
going to LA Family Housing, which is a company here in LA that helps people transition out of homelessness. It's going to Shoes That Fit, which help kids in lower poverty areas get like proper tennis shoes so they can play in PE and have like fun experiences and not have really bad shoes. And then the Boys and Girls Club of San Fernando Valley, which is where I went as a kid, where I went and played basketball all the time.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's an amazing thing that you're doing that. That's very cool. Paying it forward, paying it back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been blessed, man. I've
Yeah.
been blessed, like 100% blessed. Like there's no reason I shouldn't be doing stuff like this.
Sure.
I take it as I'm very grateful that I'm able to do what I do, and
Yeah.
part of it, I've grown up learning that you're blessed to be a blessing, and so this is that opportunity to kind of keep passing that on.
That's great. Any advice? You gave a lot of YouTube advice earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How about for all the sneakerheads out there who follow you religiously, who watch, who like when a new drop is coming and they like
Oh,
want to
gosh.
get these kicks? How do you do it? Right? I'm on the
That's-
sneakers app, striking out, taking L's.
Yeah.
Do you know any tips or tricks that
I
you can
wish.
give? Even? No,
I
it's
wish
just the
I
luck
did.
of the draw.
Yeah, it's just the luck of the draw.
Man.
Stay in the app as much as you can and,
Yeah.
and move around in the app as much as you can. Let them know that you care by tapping and swiping and watching and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully that helps you. It really is a crapshoot. But
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, the takeaway from that would be like, don't just rely on the hype stuff. The sneakers app is for simply the hype stuff.
Right.
And the sneaker world is so much bigger than that. There's so many different colors of sneakers, so many different pairs of sneakers, so many different styles. So don't rely on sneakers to be your only pathway to sneakers. Look outside of that app because there's a whole world out there that you can fall in love with as well.
Cool. Well, I collect a lot of things. I collect basketball cards. I collect autographs. I collect jerseys. I collect T-shirts, homage T-shirts. I got hundreds of those. I collect
dope.
sneakers. Clearly, you collect sneakers. We
Yes.
know about that
Yeah, yeah,
collection.
yeah.
But this segment called Cool, Calm, Collected, it's kind of like show and tell back in the day.
Okay.
So, Jacques Slade, did you bring something that you collect that you can share with us here
Yes.
today?
So
Here we go.
I was told to bring something special to me.
Yes.
And so what I brought was obviously a pair of sneakers because that's something special to me.
Yeah.
So this is an Air Max 1. This is the lunar colorway. So Nike, before that video with my mom, Nike gave me an opportunity to make a shoe. And so I made this shoe inspired by my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
So my grandfather, when I was young, I think he was retired. I don't know the full story, but I think he was retired. We would all go to his house, me and my cousins, and our parents would drop us off over there, and he would babysit us all the time while our parents went to work. And he would get up at the crack of dawn, like before light broke, and he would go and collect cardboard, and that's how he would make like his pocket money. He was like spare money. He would collect cardboard, and he would put us all in the truck with him, and he'd drive around, and he'd go collect cardboard, and like this is like before the sun comes up, and so like that's kind of what this shoe is inspired by. So he had this like turquoise colored truck, and so that's what the color of the truck is all about. And then it would be early in the morning before the sun came up, and so I would always look up through the windshield, and you would see like the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
And so that's what the speckles here on the midsole represent. So that's all the speckles are for.
Wow.
And then he collected the cardboard in these like gloves, like these ratty gloves, and they had like this like textured black material. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And so that's what like this heel counter and this overlay here is to represent, is like the textured gloves that he had. And then on the back we have PP because we all called him Pop Pop.
Yeah.
His real name was Thomas McRae, so that's the TM. And then we have Psalms 2:26, which is raise a child in the way that they should go, and they'll never depart from it. And so like that's kind of like I feel like where I got my hard work from, where I worked so hard of being able to get up early and get after it, right? Like as soon as you need to, like you need to do what you need to do. And so like that's my grandfather kind of served as that inspiration from me, and I feel like where that work ethic that I have kind of where it came from. And so that's why, the Psalms 2:26 came from. It's just because of that, like that Bible verse is like he set that root in me and it's kind of grown into what we see today.
Amazing. Well, it's a beautiful shoe and an even better story behind it. And
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that. Obviously, you have a crazy shoe collection. I was going to ask you, is there one pair that you would never part with? And
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
probably
yeah.
these.
Yeah. This one. Like everybody in my family has a pair. Like I made them, and Nike was nice enough for like to allow me to get pairs for like everyone in my family. So like the whole family has like a pair of these, and like it's all kind of like our dedication to my grandfather.
That's great. Wow, cool. Well, thank you for bringing that and sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome, man.
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
awesome. All right, well, Jacques, this has been a blast. It brings us to our final segment here. This is it's brought to us by our friends Homage. I told you I collect a lot of stuff. I've got hundreds of Homage T-shirts that are the softest in the game. Back from Ohio, where I'm from. They're in Columbus. I'm from Cleveland. And they're all about storytelling, just like we are here at In the Zone. And it's an opportunity for you to pay homage to someone in your life who's meant something to you, who's paved the way for your success, whether it's a friend or relative, maybe it's someone you've never met before, who you've admired from afar, a mentor. Who, Jacques Slade, do you want to pay homage to?
God, if I had to pay homage to someone, it would probably be my Uncle Ken. He's the one that told us to write our own songs. He has been, I would say, instrumental in not just making sure we weren't just artists, but also making sure that we were businessmen as well. And like make sure we learned both sides and we paid attention to both sides of the things that are going on. So it would have to be him. Like shouts out to my Uncle Ken. He's an incredible dude. Taught us how to work hard, like how to earn money for our shoes. Like he wouldn't just buy us shoes. He would make us go work with him. He was an electrician. So we would have to go work with him on the weekends and do like electrical work in order if we wanted a pair of shoes. It wasn't like, hey, Uncle Ken, can you get me these? He was like, sure, yeah, I can get you these, but you got to come work with me on Saturday to wire up this house and, make sure that they have electricity. So like he taught us that. He taught me about copyright. He taught us about a record deal. He bought us books on getting record deals.
Oh, wow.
Even like to this day and what I'm doing now, like he sends me text messages about everything. He has an idea about a show that they could do around me as a kid superhero that's super into sneakers. He sends me messages about Bitcoins. He sends me messages about SPACs. He's like, why don't you start one of these? Or why don't you do merch? He's like so involved in like thinking about the business side of things and teaching us things. Like he was the one that like literally forced me to buy my first home. He was like, no, you're going to buy a house. Like, I don't care what you say, you're going to buy a house. Like he's like that kind of guy. And he's set us up, me, like the younger generation of my family, so that we're in a financial position where we can kind of start building legacies for the generations that are after us. So I definitely appreciate like all he's done and all that he continues to do.
Cool. All right, well, pay homage to him for sure. And I pay homage to you, Jacques Slade, for coming and getting in the zone with us.
Thank
you. I want to
you.
leave you with your very own In the Zone trading card. Here you go. Cemented forever. So Jacques is going to, we've only printed a limited edition. There's only 5 of these in existence. We're going to have you autograph them all. One is for you. One is going to live up on here on our wall of fame where all of our guests come through.
Nice.
And then 3 of them we're going to give away to our fans and followers on social media. So make sure to keep following us here. Follow Jacques Slade. And we're going to have the giveaway details soon so that you guys can get some of these cards too. So
This
Jacques
is very
Slade,
cool. This is very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I love
For sure.
this. Thank you.
Well, I hope you had a good time getting in the zone with us. A multi-talented, multifaceted guy. People know you for the work that you do on YouTube in the sneaker space, but there's so much more talent. And thank you for sharing that with the world and with us here today on In the Zone.
Thank you for having me. I love this interview. This was awesome. And I feel like I need to laminate this so it doesn't get messed up. So this is
It's
awesome.
valuable,
Thank
as you know. The
It's
card
valuable.
game,
I'm saying
man.
the card game. Get
That's
Get this rated to see what it's.
Yeah, PSA 10.
PSA 10.
That's right. You dropped it. It's down to a 9.
Yeah,
So
9.5, 9.5. But yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show. This is great.
It was a blast.